Homeless teen, piggybacked, a lost blind girl. Home, unaware, she's a billionaire's daughter. The rain fell in sheets over the grey streets of Harborview, a city that never seemed to sleep but rarely seemed to care. A 16-year-old homeless black boy named Jamal navigated its edges, surviving on what others threw away. One stormy night, in a forgotten alley, he found a shivering, blind 7-year-old girl named Lila, lost and alone. Though they were strangers, he brought her to his makeshift shelter, shared the only clean food he had, and carried her 10 miles through the freezing rain to find her home. No one knew she was the daughter of a billionaire, and from that moment, Jamal's life would never be the same. Harborview pulsed with life, but it was a cold, distant kind. Neon signs flickering over diner windows, steam curling from sewer grates, blending with the faint wail of sirens and the thump of hip-hop from passing cars. The sidewalks teemed with people, office workers hurrying out of glass towers, tourists snapping photos by taco trucks, delivery bikes darting through gaps like they owned the streets. No one looked down, no one looked back, and no one noticed the boy slipping along the margins. Jamal moved like he was born to be unseen. 16, skinny, black, dressed in mismatched layers he'd scavenged or bartered for, his hoodie hung loose, sleeves frayed, his sneakers long past their prime. A small backpack dangled from one shoulder, holding all he owned. A faded photo of his mom from years ago, a cracked plastic water bottle, and a few napkins folded with care. Like they meant something. They did. It was just past 6 p.m., the sun already swallowed by the skyline of Northbridge. People rushed home, clutching phones, coffee cups, grocery bags. Jamal watched them through the window of a corner store. A ghost, wondering what it felt like to have a destination. He turned into the alley behind the Thai bakery on Carver Street. Most evenings, he came here. The owner tossed out unsold bread at closing, still good if you knew what to look for. Jamal crouched by the dumpster, using his sleeve to lift the lid, mindful of the backdoor camera. Under torn plastic and wilted greens, he found it. A small loaf of white bread, still wrapped, just a bit damp. He checked it, sniffed it, gave a faint smile. It would do. Then he heard it, a soft, hiccuping sob. He froze, head turning. Behind a pile of flattened cardboard near the back fence, someone was there. Jamal stood slowly, instincts sharp, ready to bolt, but what he saw stopped him cold. A little girl, curled on the concrete, knees to her chest, head against the bricks. Her dress, once pink, was caked with dirt and soot. Scratches and bruises marked her skin, some fresh, some old. Her hair was thick, curly, matted in clumps. Her eyes stared blankly ahead, unseeing. She didn't flinch as he stepped closer. "Hey," he said, voice low, careful, nothing. He crouched to her level. "You okay?" She stirred, head tilting toward his voice, eyes still blank. "I'm not supposed to talk to strangers," she said, her voice small, hoarse. Jamal felt a tightness in his chest. He sat on the ground, bread in hand. "Fair," he said. "I'm Jamal, not a stranger now." She didn't reply. Her fingers gripped the edge of a box, knuckles white. Her bare feet were scraped, swollen. Whatever happened, it wasn't recent. She'd been out here a while. "You hungry?" he asked. She hesitated, then nodded faintly. Jamal opened his backpack. Inside was a brown paper bag from a church volunteer earlier, a turkey sandwich, still warm when he got it. He'd been saving it, but now he pulled it out, unwrapped it, and crawled closer to offer it. She sniffed, reached out with shaky hands, and took it. The way she bit into it broke something in him. She didn't rush, didn't gulp. just held the food in her mouth, like she couldn't believe it was real. "What's your name?" he asked. "Lila," she whispered. "That's a nice name." A pause. "You live around here?" She shook her head. "I don't know where I am." Jamal nodded slowly. He leaned against the cold alley wall and took a bite of the stale dumpster bread. Didn't matter. They sat in silence for a long time, the city humming around them, sirens wailing, a man shouting into a phone at the alley's mouth. The world spun on, full of people who didn't care. But in that alley, a boy with nothing gave his only decent meal to a blind girl with even less. When Lila shivered, Jamal stood. "My place isn't far," he said. "Not much, but it's dry." She didn't move. "You don't have to come," he added. "I'll stay here with you if you want." She tilted her head toward him, then nodded. He helped her stand, guiding her small hand into his. They walked through side streets, past construction barriers and graffiti-covered dumpsters. Cars rolled by. No one looked. No one slowed. Behind a gas station, through a chain-link fence, was Jamal's home, a lean-to of plywood and tarps against a brick wall. Inside, a blanket, a milk crate for a seat, and a battery-powered lantern on a hook. He turned it on. "Watch your step," he said softly. He helped Lila sit, wrapped the blanket around her shoulders, and sat beside her. Outside, Northbridge roared, but in this forgotten corner, the night slowed. For the first time in months, Jamal didn't feel alone. Rain hit just after midnight, a soft mist turning steady, drumming on the patchwork roof of Jamal's shelter. Plastic sheets and tarps duct-taped together, fluttering in the breeze. Water dripped at the edges, but inside was dry enough, barely warm. Jamal sat, knees pulled up, back against the cinder block, watching the lantern's glow flicker across Lila's sleeping face. She'd curled up by the crate, exhausted from food and fear. He'd given her the blanket, folding an old hoodie under her head like a pillow. She slept now, breathing slow, one hand clutching the blanket's edge as if it might vanish. Her eyelids fluttered, and he wondered what dreams a kid like her carried. He hoped they were kinder than her day. Jamal rubbed his hands for warmth, then draped his hoodie over the blanket to cover her feet. His arms prickled in the cold, but he didn't care. She was small, fragile. She hadn't spoken much, and he hadn't pushed. He knew silence, lived in it. No need to ask to understand. The shelter creaked as the wind shifted. A dog barked nearby. Tires splashed through puddles in the distance. Life went on outside, fast and uncaring. But here, the world was quieter. Jamal leaned back, eyes closing. His body ached, not from carrying her. She was light, but from everything else. Years of walking nowhere, nights on concrete, mornings without food, dodging cops who judged him on sight. Tonight felt different, though. Not comfort, but better. Maybe because someone shared his space. Maybe because he wasn't surviving just for himself. A soft voice broke the quiet. "Are you still there?" He opened his eyes. Lila lay still, facing the wall, voice barely above the rain. "Yeah," he said, "I'm here. I thought maybe you'd go." Jamal shook his head, though she couldn't see. "Not leaving you out here." She was quiet then. "Do you have a mom?" He hesitated, voice softer. "I used to." A pause. "Me too," Lila whispered. The way she said it tightened the walls around his chest. He wanted to ask where hers was, but he didn't. Not the time. Neither was ready. "Want me to tell you a story?" he asked, unsure why. She nodded against the makeshift pillow. Jamal thought for a moment. "Okay," he said, exhaling slowly. "Once, There was a girl who could see everything, not with her eyes, but her ears. She heard leaves move when the wind was happy, the difference between a dog's tail wagging or scared. She heard the world in colors, knew which sounds were safe. Lila turned slightly, gripping the blanket. What happened to her? Jamal smiled, soft, tired. She got lost one day, far from home, but someone found her, someone invisible for a long time. No map, no car, no clean shoes, but he had ears too. He promised to stay until she wasn't lost anymore. A full silence followed, not heavy, but warm. Lila whispered, "That's a good story." "I'm still figuring out the ending," Jamal said. She didn't reply. Her breathing evened. She was asleep. Jamal leaned back, knees close. His stomach was hollow, but it didn't bother him tonight. He looked at her, bruise above her eyebrow, scratch on her cheek, and wondered how long she'd been out there, how no one saw her, or maybe they did and kept walking. He thought of the sandwich, how she ate like it was the first food that didn't hurt. That wasn't what got him. It was how she never asked, never expected kindness. Like him, rain tapped the tarp. Jamal sat, blinking slowly. He couldn't sleep, not while she trusted him with her whole self. Trust like that was rare, something he'd never had the luxury to give or receive. His eyes drifted to the dimming lantern. He clicked it off. Darkness wrapped them, but it didn't scare him. Not tonight. He listened to the rain, the city beyond, Lila's breathing, the part of him that felt different, like he mattered. He didn't know what tomorrow held, but someone had trusted him with their hunger, fear, name. He wouldn't let that go. Morning came gray and damp, the air thick with wet concrete and rust. Jamal woke before Lila, stretching stiff legs, rolling his neck against the cold wall's ache. She slept, curled under the blanket, face soft in the pale light seeping through the tarp. He didn't want to wake her, but they couldn't stay. The alley was quiet now, but soon the mechanic shop would roar, and someone might notice her. Questions would follow, ones Jamal wasn't ready for. He tapped her shoulder gently. "Lila," he said softly. "It's morning." She stirred, eyes fluttering open, unfocused. "Are we still here?" she whispered. "Yeah, but we should go. Maybe find food." She nodded, rubbing her arms under the blanket. Jamal helped her up, handed her the damp hoodie. She pulled it on, without complaint. They stepped into the alley, Jamal guiding her hand over uneven ground and glass. She winced when her foot hit a sharp edge. He crouched, brushed it off. "Want me to carry you? Will it hurt your back?" He shook his head. "I'm good. Hop on." She climbed on, arms tight around his neck. Jamal stood, steadying her light weight. Too light. They moved down the block, avoiding main streets where cops patrolled. He stuck to alleyways, empty lots, knowing Northbridge like a second skin. Camera locations, kind businesses, ones that called the cops. They reached a strip of shops near Old Town, a corner store where the clerk ignored him, a barber shop blasting gospel music. But the phone repair shop by the pawn shop caught his eye. The door was open. A middle-aged man scrolled on a cracked iPad, earbuds in. Teens laughed at the dusty flat screen. Jamal approached, Lila on his back. A boy looked up. "Yo, who's that on your back?" he asked, curious. "A friend," Jamal said. "Looking for something." The screen showed local news, nothing special. Then it changed. Jamal froze. A photo. A little girl. Dirty pink dress. Braided hair. Lila. The anchor's voice played, muffled by barbershop music. "Missing since Monday. Authorities say she may have wandered from her caretaker in Bayside Park. Anyone with information?" Jamal stepped closer, eyes fixed. It was Lila. Cleaner, smiling, but her. Wait, a teen said, turning. Is that… Yo, that's her, right? The shopkeeper pulled an earbud. Your sister? He asked, brow furrowed. Jamal didn't answer. Lila's breath quickened against his neck, her grip tightening. He stepped back, nodding. Yeah, he said quickly. That's her. Damn, they're looking everywhere, the teen said. There's a reward or something. Jamal didn't wait. He backed out, turned down a side street, and kept walking fast. He stopped in a quiet alley, behind a closed laundromat, crouching to set Lila down gently. She looked up. Was that me? Yeah, he said softly. They're looking for you. Her face scrunched. I don't want the police. You won't, he said. We'll find your real home, your family, okay? Lila nodded, lips trembling. Jamal sat beside her, heart racing. The news said Bayside Park, at least 10 miles away. How had she gotten here? Blind, alone, scared. Why hadn't anyone found her sooner? She sat on the curb in his hoodie, barefoot, hair tangled. She deserved better. He had a direction now, but no address, just Bayside Park and a news logo. He glanced down the street. A few people lingered. He needed a phone, a charger, a map, a lead. Come on, he said, offering his hand. We'll figure it out. She took it, trusting. As they walked, Jamal felt something shift. It wasn't just about her home. It was about proving something to the world, or himself. A kid like him, no home, no money, no last name anyone knew, could do something right, something real. He didn't know how they'd get there, but he knew where to go, and he held her hand tight. Clouds rolled in before they left Old Town. Jamal sensed the rain coming, the air heavier, people moving faster, umbrellas opening. By the time they passed under the highway overpass, leaving the warehouse district, drizzle began, cold, steady, soaking through clothes. Jamal adjusted Lila's weight. She was quiet, cheek against his collar, shivering slightly. He pulled the torn plastic tarp tighter around her, a makeshift cocoon. His own hoodie and jeans clung wetly, but he didn't care. Her breaths were short, tired. He didn't want her to feel the rain. He'd pieced together the address at a laundromat with a payphone. A kind woman let him check a map on the wall. He memorized the cross streets from the news. West, maybe 10 miles. Buses weren't an option. No driver would let him on, looking like this, carrying a barefoot kid, penniless. So he walked. Sidewalks turned to puddles, streams. His shoes squelched, the right one torn open, sock graying. He kept going, past strip malls, shuttered stores, a school with broken windows, an empty playground with one swing swaying. People stared. Few spoke. A man in a raincoat muttered, "Where's her mother?" Jamal kept his head down, water dripping off his hair, jaw tight. Lila mumbled in her sleep, names, dreams, but stayed quiet, her weight heavier as she slumped. At a gas station 2 miles in, he stopped under an awning, shoulders aching, fingers numb from gripping the tarp. He leaned against an ice machine, crouching. Lila stirred. "Are we there yet?" she asked, voice raw, small. "Not yet," Jamal said. "Soon." She nodded, resting her head. He stood and walked on. The rain made everything harder, chilling his bones, soaking his hope. He didn't stop, not when his legs burned, not when he nearly fell in a deep pothole, not when street signs blurred. And he guessed west. By the 6th mile, cold sank into his back. He coughed, ignored it, focused on Lila's breathing. The news video's image. A tall gate, red brick wall, glowing windows. Someone was looking for her. He'd get her there, even if he crawled the last block. By the 8th mile, the sky darkened. Oak trees lined a residential street in Westview. Sidewalks wider, lawns neat, no broken bottles. A different world. Lila was silent. Jamal tapped her knee. "You okay back there?" "Yeah," she said, weak, tired. "Almost there," he whispered. A man with a golden retriever gave a strange look but said nothing. The dog sniffed Jamal's legs, tail wagging. He kept moving, praying no one called anyone. He was just finishing what he started. The final stretch was brutal. Every step up the hill felt heavier, gravity fighting him. His fingers shook, lips cold, breath short. But at the corner, he saw it. The gate from the video, iron between brick pillars, a driveway curling to a 3-story home. Yellow light glowing through windows. Rain fell harder, as if to erase the moment. Jamal pressed the call box button. Nothing. Again, harder. The street was quiet, trees dripping. A voice crackled. "Yes? I found her. Lila. I found Lila." A pause. The speaker clicked off. 30 seconds later, the gate opened. Jamal stepped forward, crossing the driveway, Lila still on his back. The front door opened before he reached the steps. A tall man in a dark suit emerged, followed by a woman in a housecoat, tears streaming. A man in white gloves, house staff, stared wide-eyed. Jamal knelt, setting Lila on the dry, marble porch. She wobbled, tilting her head toward the voices. "Daddy!" The man rushed forward, dropping to his knees, arms around her. "Baby," he choked. "My baby." Jamal stepped back, water dripping, hoodie clinging, heart pounding. The woman sobbed. The staff ushered them inside. The door began to close. Jamal raised a hand. "She's safe now." Before anyone could ask his name, he turned and walked back into the rain. Jamal didn't look back as the rain swallowed him. The driveway, gates, lights, fading into the patter of water and the squish of his sneakers. His legs trembled, arms heavy, body begging for rest, but something felt light. Not because he was dry or fed, he was neither, but because he'd done it. She was safe. That mattered. That was enough. He told himself that. He found shelter under a bus stop awning 5 blocks away, wind cutting through, but the roof kept most rain off. No bench, just damp concrete. He sat against the plexiglass, knees to his chest. The tarp was gone. His hoodie clung, heavy. He coughed, throat raw. He'd rest, then head back to Old Town. A church near the overpass sometimes left food bags, maybe a clean shirt. He didn't think about the mansion or the man calling his daughter's name like she was everything. That story was done. Jamal was used to leaving before questions, but questions had started. Inside the house, chaos settled into quiet. Lila was wrapped in blankets, temperature checked, bruises noted. The woman, Sarah, sat by her, brushing her curls with trembling fingers, whispering, "Thank you," though Lila didn't know who it was for. The man, David Harris, paced the hallway, phone to his ear. "No, we don't know his name. He left before we could stop him." He paused. "Yes, black, teen, 16, maybe 17, thin, hoodie, came through the storm with her on his back." He turned to his assistant Marcus, who'd answered the gate. "How'd she end up 10 miles away?" David asked, voice sharp. Marcus looked down. "Sir, Monday, I took her to Bayside Park. She likes the swings." I turned for a call. "A minute." "She's blind, Marcus. A minute's a lifetime." "I know," Marcus said, eyes wet. "I didn't mean—" David didn't yell. The weight of what could have been hung heavy. He sighed, rubbed his temple. "Get the gate footage, find where he went." Within hours, the blurry, rain-soaked video hit social media. No names, just a teen, stepping back as a girl whispered, "Daddy." Caption, Unknown teen walks 10 miles in rain to return blind girl to family, then disappears. Reposted, picked up by news, shared 50,000 times by morning. Jamal didn't know. He'd crashed behind the Old Town corner store, under cardboard, asleep when a voice woke him. Firm, not angry. He blinked at the grey sky. A tall man in a dark coat. Not a cop. Jamal sat up, pulling his hoodie tight. "I'm not stealing nothing," he mumbled. "I know," the man said. Jamal's heart skipped. It was David Harris, crouching to eye level. "You walked 10 miles in the rain to bring my daughter home. She told me your name, your voice, the sandwich." He paused. "We didn't say thank you." Jamal looked at the concrete, hands unsure. "Wasn't looking for thanks," he muttered. "I know," David said. He offered a thermos. "Hot tea. Thought you might need it." Jamal took it, fingers trembling. The heat stung, but it woke something in him. David sat beside him, silent, just the sound of traffic and birds. Then, "Lila's been through a lot. She'll need time, but she's okay. Because of you." Jama nodded. "Just trying to help." "I know," David said. "Now, I want to help you." Jamal turned, unsure. "Why?" Someone who'd carry a stranger's kid through the rain, give her his only food, doesn't belong on a sidewalk. You belong where people see you, respect you. Jamal looked away, blinking fast. David stood, offered a hand. "Come with me. You're not going back to this." Jamal stared, then took it. Weeks later, Harborview moved on. The video faded, but in a warm Westview house, Lila sat at breakfast, smiling. Reaching for orange juice, she always spilled but kept trying to pour. Across from her, in a clean sweatshirt, new shoes, school bag by his chair, Jamal smiled back. Her brother now, by something deeper than blood. For the first time, someone said, "You belong here." This time, he believed it. Join us to share meaningful stories by hitting the like and subscribe buttons. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell to start your day with profound lessons and heartfelt empathy. See you in the next story. Also, don't forget to drop your thoughts, comments,